But no matter which judge President Trump chooses, Democrats are ready for a fight. They are vowing to block this nominee, just like Republicans blocked President Obama's nominee, Merrick Garland. Elaine?
Well, Jan, how do these two frontrunners compare to the late Justice Antonin Scalia?
Well, you know, it's really interesting because they both are, solid conservatives. But a group of law professors did a study that found that Gorsuch actually was kind of the most Scalia of many of the frontrunners. So compared to Hardiman, he is considered, based on his rulings and some of his writings, that he would be most likely to be in the mold of Justice Scalia. But of course, Hardiman is a solid conservative with opinions on gun rights and law and order decisions that would please conservatives as well.
And so then, Jan, how could these two frontrunners possibly impact the makeup of the court?
Well, this nomination will not affect the balance of the court. Remember, they're replacing this solid conservative icon, the intellectual giant, Antonin Scalia. So the danger for President Trump is that his nominee would not be as conservative as Justice Scalia, and he would be moving the court to the left. I think that people in the White House are comfortable that both of these nominees would be reliable judicial conservatives. But, sometimes justices get up here and they do surprise you.
So any cases on the docket right now that could potentially be swayed by a new justice?
I think it's hard to say this term, Elaine, because the justices have really kind of stepped back and avoided some of those big hot-button social issues that we've seen in years past, like abortion, affirmative action, those kind of issues. This decision, I think, is more about the future. Remember, this justice will be on the Supreme Court for a generation. It'll be one of President Trump's most lasting legacies. This justice will be deciding issues of enormous importance to American life long after President Trump has left town. And he could not have two more different choices. When you think about kind of the elite Gorsuch, the blue-collar hero in Hardiman, I think the choice that he makes will be very revealing, and Democrats then will have to decide how to proceed with that fight.
With that as the context then, Jan, give us a sense of the timeline. Once President Trump makes his decision, how long possibly before we could see a confirmation hearing and a new justice on the Supreme Court?
Well, sometimes these things can move pretty quickly, but I would expect from signals that we're already seeing for Democrats that they are going to try to block this nominee, which could drag it out for quite some time. Remember, they can filibuster this nominee. The Democrats did away with the filibuster for lower court judges and cabinet nominees when they controlled the Senate, but they kept that rule in place for the Supreme Court. So if they hold together and filibuster this nominee, Republicans would then have to try to change the rules like the Democrats did to blow up the filibuster. That's what they call in Washington the nuclear option. And so I think that's a very real possibility, but all of that means a huge battle. I mean, we see big battles in Washington, Elaine, but I think this is a fight that the Trump White House will not have seen yet, and many of us have not seen in a confirmation hearing in a long, long time. And if you think this is going to be a big fight, when Justice Anthony Kennedy, who is more moderate than Scalia, retires, then you're going to see an even bigger one, because really the future of the court is on the line.
All right, a lot at stake. Jan Crawford, thank you so much.
Thanks, Elaine.